So if we've made laws to strengthen local government institutions, we're also making laws to strengthen traditional institutions so that traditional rulers can independently perform their functions without fear or intimidation. We need them to be more active in governance. We need them to be more active in the democratic space.
Now, during their resumed sitting at the Assembly quarters on Aba Road in Port Harcourt yesterday, the lawmakers gave first reading to the bill and also gave first reading to a bill which seeks to repeal the River State Advertisement and Use of State-Owned Property Prohibition Law number 7 of 2022. Also, during their sitting yesterday, the lawmakers said they are still expecting Governor Fubara to submit the 2024 budget to them. This is after they deliberated on the delayed submission of the audited account of the state by the Public Account Committee. The Speaker of the House, Martin Amihul, advised the Auditor General of the state to make the state account available to the Assembly as required by the Constitution. They also agreed to write to the Governor about their planned recess to align with his calendar.
His Excellency the Governor is here to submit the medium-term expenditure framework. He is also here to submit to this August Assembly the appropriation bill for 2024. And we are looking at going on recess. So I want to put it to the House that there is need for us to send an official letter to the Governor informing him of our intention to go on recess so that we will know how our time of the way we are going to operate this within the next few days and weeks.
Meanwhile, a lawyer, Eugene O'Day, says any action taken by the Martin Amihule-led Assembly is invalid. Mr. O'Day tells correspondent Suebio Ruwari that the River State House of Assembly has only 3 members following the resignation of Edison Ehe as lawmaker.
The process of the by-election has been activated as we speak. The 27 lawmakers have also gone to the Federal High Court in Abuja to seek an order to determine their status, whether they are still members of the United House of Assembly or not. And have also sought an order, which has interim order, restraining INEC from conducting the by-election, a judicial interpretation of their status to determine whether or not they are still members of the House of Assembly. Whether or not they are members of the House of Assembly is a matter for judicial interpretation.
On Monday, the River State civil society organizations criticized Governor Fubara, saying he went against the provisions of the law by acknowledging Martin Amihule as a speaker at the state function. Now, they also said they view the continuous sitting and public recognition of the 25 lawmakers as members of the River State House of Assembly as a disregard for Section 109 subsection G of the 1999 Constitution. The group also threatened to stage a peaceful protest at the INEC office in Port Harcourt on 16 January to pressure INEC to conduct election to fill the vacant seats in the Assembly. Away from that, a man, Tontoye Kingsley, who claims to be a civil servant in the State Ministry of Education, has called for a fair distribution of the 100,000 Naira Christmas bonus approved by Governor Siminayo Fubara for the state civil servant in December. Mr. Kingsley, who came to the NIDAM's claimed yet to receive bonus and alleged only a select few received it after a peaceful protest last week Thursday.
We got information that the governor released the money 100%, which the money is supposed to go around to every civil servant. We have gone to the banks, we have gone to the board, we have gone even to the ministry. We went on a peaceful protest, and the head of service addressed us. So he gave us the assurance that the money will be paid, that is due to maybe network problem. Then on Friday, some persons randomly started receiving alert, meaning that they just decided to pay some few persons and leaving some persons blindly. Myself, I have not received, and so many others that are not here. Let something be done. We want our money paid to us.
Now, but the River State Commissioner for Information, Joe Johnson, says the issue regarding the Christmas bonus has been resolved following last week's protest. He spoke on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire.
That issue has been cleared. Some of them protested to Government House Gate on Thursday. And the head of service, Dr. Nweke, addressed them and assured them that the next day, which was last Friday, that they will all get. I'm not too sure there are agitations anywhere to whether anyone has been paid. It's been paid. It was problem with the banks, intra-bank transfers. For government, release the money to over 40,000 civil servants, which is in the neighborhood of about 4 billion.
In other news, at least 20 people are feared dead following a boat accident along the Andoni-Bonny waterways in Rivers State yesterday. Details are still sketchy, but the chairman of Andoni local government area, Erastus Awoto, while sympathizing with the affected families, said the victims are from Ngo Town, Ataba, Isiama, and other communities in Andoni. He also appealed to operators of water transportation in Andoni to always comply strictly with safety rules. Still to come, EFCC seizes passport of suspended former ministers of humanitarian affairs. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has seized the passports of the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Better Edu, and her predecessor, Sadia Umar Farouk, over the ongoing investigations into scandals in the ministry. Dr. Edu, who arrived at the EFCC headquarters Abuja yesterday morning, was still being quizzed by the Commission's investigators as at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, female politician Hilda Dokubo says the controversy surrounding the suspended Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Better Edu, exposes bigger issues in the current administration. Mrs. Dokubo, the Labour Party chairman in Rivers State, spoke in defense of women's representation in politics amid criticisms following the scandal involving Dr. Edu. She spoke to gender correspondent Constance Mega.
How is this the women's representation? Who in this particular administration has respected anything? Everything takes the character of the head now. What is the character of the head? What story have they told us that is correct? Who is not a co-conspirator in conspiracy against Nigeria? Is it because she's a woman, so her own looks like a story? It's not a story now. It is the character of the party, the character of the leadership. That is just a reflection. There's a whole lot of impunity playing now.
The Labour Party chieftain also expressed concerns over Nigeria's inadequate database, saying proper checks should have been done when Dr. Edu sent a letter of approval.
According to them, he wrote to somebody. Did the person query what was written? A civil servant or an appointee who has been in government and knows that you cannot pay people's money to one individual. So I can write the number of 1 billion ghosts and tell you that those ghosts are the people I paid. In Nigeria, where do we keep the records? This is a country you and I know. You register with MTN. You want to buy a Glo number. They cannot retrieve your data that is with MTN. How many times have you done biometrics?
Now to business. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association says at least 15 multinationals have either divested or partially closed operations in the country in the last 3 years. In entertainment, Hollywood actor Jason Momoa and Lisa Bonet reached a divorce settlement on 8th January, coinciding with Bonnet's request for the dissolution of their 6-year marriage. And to sports now, the management of Kano Pillars Football Club has urged the Nigeria Professional Football League Disciplinary Committee to review its decision regarding the imposed 12 million naira fine on the team for alleged misconduct.
And now we bring you news from around the world.
UK police say their statistics show that the increase in sexual offences committed by children in England and Wales is partly attributed to the prevalence of mobile phones and the accessibility of explicit content. Now that's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The Rivers lawmakers have denied stripping Governor Fubara of his powers as they demand 2024 budget. Rivers State Commissioner for Information says the issue over the Christmas bonus for civil servants has been resolved. The EFCC has seized the passports of suspended and former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, and on the foreign scene, UK police has linked the increase in sexual offences by children to their access to mobile phones and explicit content. The news was edited by Constance Mega. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Ifechukwu Monyali. Many thanks for listening.